In this video, I'm going to show you 3 Manychat automations that build your following, nurture your leads, and establish a relationship with your new followers. So here are the 3 automations in front of me. The first one is a lead magnet automation where you ask people to comment on your video and then you tell them, hey, follow me and I'll give you this freebie. The second one is when you tell people, DM me the word X or whatever, and they get a certain benefit. I'll talk about this shortly. And then we have the say hi to new follower automation, which is the newest feature of Manychat. And this establishes a relationship with your new followers without being salesy or too spammy or too pushy. So let me start with the simplest one, which is the lead magnet automation. So first of all, you have this trigger over here. So this trigger, whether it could be like anything, any kind of video. It could be a post, it could be a reel, it could be like anything. Okay, and then you have your keyword. Let me just show you this. So once you choose your video, you select what keyword you want, and then you choose whatever kind of reply you want to add. And the more you add, like the more it's going to give you. So no matter what you have, it's going to be the same. Okay. Now, once you choose your trigger, the first condition is going to be to see whether like this actual person is following your account. So how do we do it? First, we click on, like, let me just click here on condition. You click follows your Instagram account, and if it's true, okay, it takes them through this green branch. And if it's false, which means they do not follow your account, it takes them through the red branch. So once you see if they are actually following you, or once this machine sees if they are actually following you, it immediately gives them the freebie. Now, here's the thing. What I usually like to do is to track if people clicked on this link or not, because this allows me to build a list or a custom list of these engaged people. Okay, so whenever someone clicks on this, I add a tag that says click the URL, and then I add a tag that says engaged follower. And I have something in terms of lead management on my Instagram. I tag my friends and I tag my students or clients or whoever like took my services or like digital products, and I do not follow up with them after they take this freebie. Because the goal of this follow-up, or like whatever I'm going to show you now, is because I do not want to follow up with existing people or my friends, because it's going to waste my setter's time. All right. So over here, whenever someone clicks on the URL, they, like, if, for example, if they are a friend or if they are a student or a client, the green branch is empty, which means like if these conditions are met, don't do anything. So let's say most of you are not my students or my clients. You won't go through this green branch. You will go through this red branch, which means you're not a student or client, so I will follow up with you. Now, how does this follow-up mean? How does this follow-up work? So if you do not meet this condition, you will wait for 25 minutes, or the automation will wait for 25 minutes, and it will go through this randomizer over here. Now, what does this randomizer do? This randomizer over here simply follows up with a lead every single time, or for every single lead in a different way. Now, why do we do that? Because if I have a very engaged lead and maybe they're consuming all of my free stuff, and after every single freebie I give, they are receiving a follow-up message. Imagine if you interact with me and you constantly receive the same follow-up message. At some point, you will know this is automated. And this is the goal of this randomizer, is to just make it harder for you to spot what my next question is. So if you got my freebie here, and after 25 minutes you got this message, and then like 3 days later I posted maybe a different freebie and I had a different kind of follow-up and you received this, you're more likely to apply because what? Because you didn't receive that message. Like you're more likely to see that or to feel that it's less automated. And people reply to something that looks very human. And I think these look very human. Okay, so this is the randomizer feature. I really suggest you guys use it. And I left you all of these options here. Try not to copy them, like use ChatGPT to like change this. I will leave you a prompt, by the way, in the description to change these messages over here. All right. Then once you send this message, you assign this to your setter. Why? Because I don't want to automate the whole process from beginning to end, because this specific message is going to be triggering the conversation with the lead. And I want my setter to like handle this conversation with the lead. All right. So if they follow you, this is the branch they go through. But if they don't follow you, this is where they go. So check this out. First of all, I tell them, hey, I just saw you commented on my video. Okay, now this is on my pricing guide reel or whatever, like this or the freebie name. Okay, this guide is exclusively for my followers. A lot of people hate this, by the way, but it works. So this guide is exclusively for my followers. So if you want to get it, make sure to go to my profile, follow me, and then click I followed you. So obviously the link here is what your Instagram profile is link. If they go and follow you and click here I followed you, it will take them through the condition again. And then if they actually did follow you, they would receive the freebie. But if they did not follow you, they would receive this message. Are you sure you followed me? Because I can't see you did yet. Please confirm when you follow me. And we do the same kind of condition. And again, if they try to like manipulate the system, they will receive this. And we say here, by the way, this is a bot. So if you don't follow me, you'll keep getting the same messages. And if they also click here and they did not follow me, they will get redirected to this message over here. Okay, now obviously you can go very crazy with this, like you can go very fancy, like you can put an image, you can put a voice note, you can put even a video, like you can get very creative with it, but like I personally don't think it's necessary. Okay, so make sure to change the profile URL and make sure to change the message here. I'm gonna like change it now here on my title or real title. Okay. Anyway, so mainly this is the first automation, and I will, by the way, leave it in the description for you to copy paste everything in this automation. You just have to change the stuff inside, obviously change the post and the keyword and some of the messages here. All right, so this is how you collect more followers if you're posting organic content. Now here's the other one that I really like, which is the DM me the word whatever for the benefit. And I really love to use this as a nurturing technique. So here's what I do. First, I do this like a quiz or a survey. I will give you an example for one of our clients who sells content creation services for experts, coaches, and consultants. So check this out. So whenever someone DMs him the word growth, they receive this message that says, hello, thanks for reaching out. I'll ask you a few questions to build you a personalized plan. Are you okay with that? Usually, something that you don't know, what we usually do for our clients is that we optimize their Instagram profile to get them more leads. So the first thing we do in their bio is that we tell them, hey, we need to put some sort of a call to action to get people to DM you the word, for example, growth, to get a specific benefit. In our case here with our client, they are asking people to DM them the word growth for a personalized Instagram growth plan. Now, obviously, nothing is personalized about this, but what we usually do is create a YouTube video to nurture the leads, and we make them go through a certain qualification form to make them feel like, okay, I really answered the question. And by the way, like this helps us also understand our followers and our market better, and like see if we can tailor our messaging to a specific segment in our DMs or like the followers in general. So I create a YouTube video that obviously give a personalized growth or Instagram growth plan. Yes, I can route every single possibility, but it will create endless amount of variations. That's why what I usually do is I ask like 5 questions and then give one solution that almost works on all of the kinds of answers. Okay, so here's an example. We start with what best describes you right now. Like, I'm a content creator, I'm a business owner, professional, agency, or freelancer, or just exploring. Okay? Whatever they answer, obviously here we have this, what we call data collection. Okay? And once we add this data collection, the default is text that you get from Manychat, but what we usually do is select multiple choice. Okay, so you can get these. Now, once a user clicks on this, we need to set something we call a user field. Now, what does this mean? A user field is, in other words, a custom field. And this means that, let's say I'm asking people for like what best describes them right now. In my database, in my CRM, in my ManyChat account, whoever has this field clicked or they answered on this question, it will show in their profile. So let's say I go into your Instagram account and at some point I answer this question and I click here, I'm a business owner. When you go into my contact record inside ManyChat, you will see that I'm a content creator. Now, why do we do this? Because on the long run, once you start scaling your business properly, you can build something we call a custom segment or custom list. This custom list can allow you to remarket to them specifically via ads or emails if you have their emails, or phone numbers if you have their phone numbers. Okay, so it's a pretty advanced thing, but I highly suggest you create something I call a user field or a custom field and do it like this. So it looks, first you add the question, okay, and then you simply add the value. Now, how do you add the value? You just click on this bracket over here and you click on custom user field and you choose whatever, like I just showed you here. For some reason it's bugging. You choose the actual answer or the actual question and it will automatically reflect inside that user field. All right, so this is the first question. Now, if they don't respond, I ask them, like, still want the personalized IG growth plan? You have your first question unanswered. If they click yes, they receive the same message again, so they can reply. Okay, so in general, whenever they answer, they would receive the next question, which is, where do you feel stuck on Instagram? Because obviously I'm trying here to understand the problem. The question number 1 was like trying to understand who the ICP is. In question number 2, we're trying to understand the problem of this ICP. Okay, and obviously the video that I'm going to send them in the end is going to be answering these problems or solving these problems. I'm going to do the same thing when it comes to the actions, and then if they also don't respond, I send a follow-up, and this follow-up is sent to them, I think, in like 30 minutes. Yeah, 30 minutes. All right, then after they answer this, they go into this question, which also goes like a little bit deeper, and like I try to specifically ask an industry specific question. So it could be, for example, in your case, if you're a fitness influencer, if you're a fitness coach, if you're a fitness coach, you could be asking, for example, under your third question, like how many times do you work out a week? Like that's something specific. You're not asking them something vague like what's your goal from fitness, or like what's your goal from going to the gym? Like, do you want to gain weight or do you want to lose fat? You know, it's like you're going a bit granular here. So it's also the same process in the third question. Okay, then we have the fourth question, which goes even further into that specific type of segment or like industry. So what type of content do you mostly post? It could be, in your case, for example, let's say you're also let's say, for example, you're not a fitness coach. I'm stuck on fitness coaches. um, let's say you are an AI course creator. Okay, you could go, for example, deeper and ask them, like, what tools have you tried before? Like, that's very specific. Okay, Like, what tools did you use for content creation, or like, what AI tools did you use for content creation? It could be Claude, it could be ChatGPT, it could be, I don't know, whatever. Or you could say, I didn't use any tools. All right. So the same process here. Obviously, I didn't add a follow-up here for some reason, but you can add your own follow-up if you want. Now, after they answer, I try to make it a bit human and tell them, okay, this is all clear. I have one final question to remind them that there's also there's one more question, and ask them this. If you have a solution that solves your Instagram growth problem today, where do you want to be in 6 months? And this is very important to know the outcome they want to achieve within a certain period. It could be 4 months, 3 months, 1 year, doesn't matter. And then this is purely for the setter to understand their goals, because at some point they're going to be assigned to the setter. Okay? So this is how it works when it comes to the questions. Now, the next step is, in my opinion, is genius. And you will find a lot of people bouncing off, by the way, here, because they went through like 5 of your questions and then you're asking them something extra, which is the email. So here you ask them, your personalized IG growth plan is ready. Could you please share your email to send it over? Obviously, you're not doing anything customized or personalized, but in the video, you could tell them, for example, you went through my questions on Instagram and you're either you're probably suffering from problem 1, 2, or 3. And these are the problems that you just listed here. Okay, where? Here. So you can draft your script based on these questions and the answers. So whatever they answer, it's going to make sense to them. Okay? So once you get their email address, you need to tag these leads as a lead and tag them as an engaged follower. Now, here's something. I use something called the Webhook with another tool called agency.io, agency with I. Okay, and that's I'm gonna create a separate video for this, but what I mean here is that you can send an email to whoever sends you their email on Instagram. Okay, and it's using something called an external webhook. And just to show you how this looks like here, you click on action and then send make external request. Once you send an external request, you're gonna add a link here and you're gonna go through some steps here. I'm not gonna show you how to add a webhook here because it's not really that important. Okay, it's just a fancy way of showing people like, hey, I have your email and this is how it's done. We usually set all these external webhooks for our clients. Okay, so if they do not respond and tell them like, hey, you're almost there, don't neglect your growth. If you still want your plan, just share your email. And then if they share their email again, they get these tags and I don't follow up with them anymore. Now, once they give their emails, they get this specific message that says, here's your plan, and we send them to YouTube. Okay? Now, the next step, obviously, once they click, they get assigned this tag which says watch the IG personalized plan. It could be a different case for you. It could be, for example, watched the free course on YouTube. Like, it could be anything. Okay, it really depends on you. But here's the thing. You need a unique tag for these people who watched this video, because we create this condition. And this condition says, if this lead has this tag, it means they clicked on the link. But if they do not have this tag and went through all this hassle of answering all of these questions and giving us their emails, etc., it means they didn't click. So whoever clicks on the video, let's assume we have a 1 hour duration or 30 minutes. I send them a reminder or like a follow-up question asking for their feedback after 1 hour. And usually it's something like this, like, hey, again, I would love to know if this plan helped you out. I'm excited to know your feedback. You could also send a voice note. So the voice note obviously needs to be gender neutral. It should be something very straight to the point, and it really sounds human. Okay, obviously you can't add their first name or like anything like that. You can't really personalize it at this point. But you can send here, where was it? It was 1 second. Yeah, so you can add audio and you can add your own voice note here. However, okay, I prefer to keep it as a basic text, just like just like that. Okay, so I do have actually one voice note in the next automation. You'll see it shortly. All right, so you can add your questions over here and obviously change them using ChatGPT. You don't need to copy them word for word. Now, after I ask the question, I assign them to my setter. It's the same process. Now, whoever doesn't click on this video, they see this. So they get this randomizer again and ask them, hey, like, do you still want this? Because why am I using the randomizer here? Because some people might ditch the whole chat and they would go through the same automation again because people are busy. Okay, so I also use the randomizer here. All right, and whoever says like, yes, like give me the plan, I take them to YouTube immediately. And whoever clicks here, they will get assigned this tag over here. Okay, now what I usually do, if for some reason someone received the message, okay, and we waited 1 hour, and then maybe like what my point is here is that I send them the message. If they don't click, I wait 1 hour. They will obviously go through this condition and they will receive the reminder over here. So let me repeat. When I send the message here, if they don't click, they will be waiting, or the automation will wait for 1 hour, and then it will take them to this condition. And obviously they didn't click, so they will receive one of these reminders. Okay, so the reason why we do this kind of automation, it's to nurture the leads that are still studying us from afar. They want to purchase our digital product, they want to purchase our service, but they're still hesitant. So this is one of the, I would say, ways of nurturing our leads. Like, we take them through an experience. We created an experience for these people. Okay, so the better your experience is, probably you're more likely to close these deals. But it's one of the fanciest automations, I would say. All right. So now this is the kind of automation to nurture the leads. One thing I missed is the kind of message or the kind of trigger that you need to put. So something a lot of people do as a mistake is that they like, whenever they click a new trigger, you need to choose user sends DM, and it should be a specific word. Okay, a lot of people miss changing this, like if message contains, and that's very risky because you do not want someone to receive an automation while chatting with you and mentioning a specific keyword like the word growth. That's why the message should be message is and only is. So if someone sends only the word growth, they will receive this automation. But if they say, for example, I'm struggling with growth, they won't receive the automations. I did this mistake before. I had an automation that said club, and whoever mentioned the word club within the chat, and we were like chatting normally about something completely different than the club, but we happened to mention the word club for something else, and they received the automation. So that's why the message should be is, not contains. All right, that's something like just for the record. So this is the second automation. Now, the third automation, which is the new follower automation that builds relationship with new followers. That's, I think, probably the most powerful automation that you could be using, and you will love it. So let me show you. This ensures you that whoever follows you receives a message. Okay? But here's the thing. I can't really show you the trigger here because it's set by Instagram, but I will show you how it looks like in my account. So I have the say hi to new followers. This is how it looks like. Okay, the trigger here is this. Usually what happens is that whenever you create the say hi to new followers automation, it will be in the basic builder. When I say basic builder, it's something like this. One second. It looks something like this. Okay, but once you finish your automation and publish it, okay, so let me, for example, do this, go live. Okay, test. test.com. I'll go live. So it will look something like this, but for some reason it's not letting me. Okay, so there's a feature here where you, specifically in the say hi to new followers feature, you click on the three dots and it will tell you go to advanced builder. This is the basic builder, okay? And we don't usually use the basic builder because it's like very limited. All right, so I will just delete this and move on. Okay, so let me go back to the templates. There you go. So this is how the automation looks like. Whenever someone follows you, just go through the basic steps in the settings of Manychat. And if it doesn't work, there's a very, very common problem that everyone is facing, which is whenever you try to log into the business suite, it asks you to log in using Instagram. And if you have an account on Business Suite, you probably have it linked with your Facebook or your email, but you don't log in with Instagram, and obviously it doesn't show you like you have an account there. That's why the solution is to go through Upwork and hire someone who can do it for you. Okay, so just publish a job post on Upwork. It costs you like $20, and simply tell whoever that expert or freelancer is, tell them I need you to just integrate Manychat with the business suite and activate the say hi to new followers automation. And that's it. All right. So it took me, I think, maybe a month just to figure out that I need to outsource this for a freelancer because I thought I had a problem in my accounts. Apparently, it was just a bug after going back and forth with Manychat. All right. So mainly, you get the trigger, then you wait for 30 minutes, and then after 30 minutes, you send them a message. And obviously, the 30 minutes is optional. I prefer to wait 30 minutes. You could send it after like 5 minutes or 1 hour or 2 hours. Doesn't matter. Okay, so here we say like, hey, I noticed you just followed me and I wanted to welcome you properly with a little gift. It's a freebie designed to help you achieve a specific outcome faster and easier. For example, here it could be, it's a plug and play lead generation system I personally use, and it's built to help you attract qualified prospects and book 8 to 10 qualified booked calls per day. All right. I have multiple examples here that you can use. All right. Then whoever clicks on this button, I mark them as new followers. And why is that? Because no one's going to receive this message except if they follow me. So I tag these leads as new followers. Then I see, do I have their emails? If I do have their emails, I simply send them the freebie and tell them like, reach out to me if you need any questions. I'd be more than happy to assist. Okay, and whoever clicks here, I add a tag. Click the URL, and between brackets, I add new follower, which refers to this automation. Then after this message, we wait 1 hour and see, do they have this tag over here? If they do have this tag, it means they clicked. I send them a voice note and ask them like, oh, by the way, what is your current way of generating leads in your business? And then I assign this to my setter. Give me a minute. Okay, so I assign this to the setter, and there you go. Okay, obviously I have a few examples over here that you can use, but again, back to this. So if I have their emails, I send them the freebie, I add a tag to whoever clicks, and 1 hour later, if they clicked, they receive a voice note asking for feedback, and then I ask them a question like, what's the current way of generating leads? It could be, for example, in your case, like, how are you trying to lose fat? Or like, how are you trying to gain weight? Or how are you trying to manage stress? Like, whatever you're selling, all right? So if now here, if you do not have their emails, what do? You send them this. I personally prefer to send it this way. I would say, perfect, just drop your email and I'll send you access to the freebie right away. By entering your email, you agree to receive your freebie plus a few bonus surprises. This is one option. And by the way, I have this example that I'm currently using. I'm testing to see how it works. My current opt-in rate is around 10%. It's fair, but like I prefer that if it's like 20%. So I'm still testing some messages. Here I have, could you please share your email so I can grant you access to the video training? Don't worry, I'm not the type that bothers you with emails, because a lot of people are afraid to give their email addresses because they are afraid of being bombarded with marketing messages. So if they don't respond, I ask them like, do you still want me to send you your freebie? If they say yes, I tell them, could you please share your email to send it over? And again, once they send it, they get tagged as an engaged follower, and then the next step is to send them to this specific message with the same flow that I just showed you here. All right, so let me go back. If we have their emails, or excuse me, if we don't have their emails, we'll ask them for their email. And then whoever replies will tag them as an engaged follower. And if they reply here, we also send them to this specific message. Like all of these down here are redirecting the messages or the people to this message. Our goal here is just to collect their emails. All right. So now whoever goes here is gonna be filtered by this tag or by this condition that simply asks people, did you click on this link? If they do, you know what happens. They receive a voice note. But if they did not, we tell them, hey, I noticed you didn't watch the video. Click yes below to watch it. Very simple. Again, you can change all of the kind of like all the texts or the messages with ChatGPT. You can change everything. Don't stick to this word for word. I highly suggest you don't copy anything, but change the wording so you can actually have your own unique touch. Okay, so if they click yes, they will receive like this message. Here you go, just click the button below. And if you have here, for example, your free video training or whatever. And again, if they click, we have this actually, this is a mistake. I'm gonna fix it with you, which is this. 1 second. Yeah. Here. Oh, actually, no, this is not a mistake. I just remembered. Yeah, so here I actually don't care if they click or not because I already followed up with them. I don't want to follow up with them too much. Like I'm not a creep. I don't want to follow up with them if they did watch it or not. I already followed up once. But if you want, you can stretch it out and like really follow up 3 or 4 times, but I don't suggest it. Like I just follow up once. All right. So mainly this is the third automation in like our system, excuse me. So this is the third automation in our system that we usually implement for our clients. And I left you the link, excuse me. I left you the link for these 3 automations over here. You can copy paste them as is. You just have to change the wording in the messages, the links, and some of the templates. All right. And mainly this is it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.